Hi, Tim. I'm ready.
Hi, I'm unable to hear anything.
Yeah, same here.
I thought we are yet to start. Okay, Suman, we both are able to hear each
Yeah.
other. Rajesh has joined again.
Yeah, hi. It's just four of us today, I think.
Hello,
I
hello.
Himanshu, you are also audible. Rajesh is also audible
Can
now.
you hear me? Can you hear me?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
you're audible.
Oh,
Yes.
thank God. Thank you so much. Okay, fine. I'm sharing the screen, and who wants to lead?
Yes, I may start.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. Someone you may start from chapter
Okay,
4.
okay, okay, okay. Yeah, thank you. Chapter 4. This is not opinion, this is biology.
Rajesh, recording started.
Yeah, yeah. I started. Oh, sorry. 1 minute. Uh,
I think it started.
I think I have to start from here. I think it's in YouTube Live. YouTube Live. Live
Yeah,
stream is
yeah, that.
going on.
It is already started. Yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay. Saurabh has started.
yeah, yeah.
Now, the Star Valley Snitches had bellies with stars. The Plain Valley Snitches had none upon theirs. Those stars were not so big, they were really so small. You might think such a thing would not matter at all. Scroll up, please. Then, quickly, Sylvester McMonkey McBean put together a very peculiar machine, and he said, "You want stars like a Star Valley Snitch? My friends, you can have them for $3 each." Left side, yeah, now it's fine. Again, alignment was not proper, yeah, now fine. In his 1961 story about the Sneetches, Doctor Swayze introduced us to two groups of Sneetches, one with stars on their bellies and the other with none. The ones without stars wanted desperately to get stars lengths and pay larger and larger sum of money simply to feel like they were part of a group. But only Sylvester McMonkey McBean, the man whose machine puts stars upon theirs, profited from the Sneetch's desire to fit in. As with so many things, Doctor Swayze explained it best. The snitches perfectly capture a very basic human need, the need to belong. Our need to belong is not rational, but it is a constant that exists across all people in all cultures. It is a feeling we get when those around us share our values and beliefs. When we feel like we belong, we feel connected, and we feel safe. As humans, we crave the feeling and we seek it out. Sometimes our feeling of belonging is incidental. We are not friends with everyone from our hometown, but travel across the state and you may meet someone from your hometown and you instantly have a connection with them. We are not friends with everyone from our home state, but travel across the country and you will feel a special bond with someone you meet who is from your home state. Go abroad and you will form instant bonds with other Americans you meet. I remember a trip I took to Australia. One day, I was on a bus and heard an American accent. I turned and struck up a conversation. I immediately felt connected to them. We could speak the same language, understand the same slang. As a stranger in a strange city, for that brief moment, I felt like I belonged. And because of it, I trusted those strangers on the bus more than any other passengers. In fact, we spent time together later. No matter where we go, we trust those with whom we are able to perceive common values or beliefs. Our desires to feel like we belong is so powerful that we will go to great lengths, do irrational things, and often spend money to get that feeling. Like the snitches, we want to be around people and organizations who are like us and share our beliefs. When companies talk about what they do and how advanced their products are, they may have appeal, but they do not necessarily represent something to which we want to belong. But when a company clearly communicates their why, what they believe, and we believe that, and we believe what they believe, then we will sometimes go to extraordinary lengths to include those products or brands in our lives. This is not because they are better, but because they become markers or symbols of the values and beliefs we hold dear. Those products and brands make us feel like we belong, and we feel a kinship with others who buy the same things. Fan clubs started by customers are often formed without any help from the company itself. These people form communities in person or online, not just to share their love of a product with others, but to be in the company of people like them. Their decisions have nothing to do with the company or its products. They have everything to do with the individual themselves. Our natural need to belong also makes us good at spotting things that don't belong. It is a sense we get, a feeling, something deep inside us, something we can't put into words, allows us to feel how some things just fit and something just don't. Dell selling MP3 players just don't feel right because Dell defines itself as a computer company. So the only things that belong are computers. Apple defined itself as a company on a mission, and so anything they do that fits that definition feels like it belongs. In 2004, they produced a promotional iPod in partnership with the iconoclastic Irish rock band U2. That makes sense. They would never have produced a promotional iPod with Celine Dion, even though she has sold vastly more records than U2 and may have a bigger audience. U2 and Apple belong together because they share the same values and beliefs. They both push boundaries. It would not have made sense if Apple released a special iPod with Celine Dion, as big as her audience may be. The partnership just doesn't align. Look no farther than Apple's TV commercials. I am a Mac and I am a PC for a perfect representation of who a Mac user needs to be to feel like they belong. In the commercial, the Mac user is a young guy, always in jeans and t-shirt, always relaxed and always having a sense of humor, poking fun at the system. The PC, as defined by Apple, is not a, is in a suit, older, stodgy. To fit in with Mac, you have to be like Mac. Microsoft responded to Apple with its own I Am a PC campaign, which depicts people from all walks of life identifying themselves as PC. Microsoft included many more people in their ads: teachers, scientists, musicians, and children, as one would expect from the company that supplies 95% of the computer operating systems. To belong to that crowd, you have to be everyone else. One is not better or worse. It depends on where you feel like you belong. Are you a rebel rouser or are you with the majority? We are drawn to leaders and organizations that are good at communicating what they believe. Their ability to make us feel like we belong, to make us feel special, safe, and not alone is part of what gives them the ability to inspire us. Those whom we consider great leaders all have an ability to draw us close and to command our loyalty. And we feel a strong bond with those who are also drawn to the same leaders and organizations. Apple users feel a bond with each other. Harley riders are bonded to each other. Anyone who was drawn to hear Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. give his I have a dream speech, regardless of race, religion, or sex, stood together in that crowd as brothers and sisters, bonded by their shared values and beliefs. They knew they belonged together because they could feel it in their gut. Gut decisions don't happen in your stomach. The principles of the Golden Circle are much more than a communications hierarchy. Its principles are deeply grounded in the evolution of human behavior. The power of why is not an opinion, it is a biology. If you look at a cross section of the human brain from the top down, you see that the levels of the golden circle correspond precisely with the three major levels of the brain. The newest area of the brain, our Homo sapien brain, is the neocortex, which corresponds with the what level. The neocortex is responsible for rational and analytical thought and language. The middle two sections comprise the limbic brain. The limbic brain is responsible for all of our feelings, such as trust and loyalty. It is also responsible for all human behavior and all our decision making, but it has no capacity for language. When we communicate from the outside in, when we communicate what we do first, yes, people can understand vast amounts of complicated information like facts and features, but it does not drive behavior. But when we communicate from the inside out, we are taking we are talking directly to the part of the brain that controls decision making, and our language part of the brain allows us to rationalize those decisions. The part of the brain that controls our feelings has no capacity for language. It is this disconnection that makes putting our feelings into words so hard. We have trouble, for example, explaining why we married the person we married. We struggle to put into words the real reasons why we love them. So we talk around it or rationalize it. She is funny, she is smart, we start. But there are lots of funny and smart people in the world, but we don't love them and we don't want to marry them. There is obviously more to falling in love than just personality and, and competence. Rationally, we know our explanation is not the real reason. It is how our loved ones make us feel, but those feelings are really hard to put into words. So, when pushed, we start to talk around it. We may even say things that don't make any rational sense. She completes me, we might say. For example, what does that mean? And how do you look for someone who does that so you can marry them? That is the problem with love. We only know when we have found it because it just feels right. The same is true for other decisions. When a decision feels right, we have a hard time explaining why we did what we did. Again, the part of the brain that controls decision making does not control language, so we rationalize. This complicates the value of polls or market research. Asking people why they chose you over another may provide wonderful evidence of how they have rationalized the decision. But it does not shed much light on the true motivation for the decision. It is not that people don't know, it is that they have trouble explaining why they do what they do. Decision making and the ability to explain those decisions exist in different parts of the brain. This is where gut decisions come from. They just feel right. There is no part of the stomach that controls decision making. It all happens in the limbic brain. It is not an accident that we use that word feel to explain those decisions either. The reason gut decisions feel right is because the part of the brain that controls them also controls our feelings. Whether you defer to your gut or you are simply following your heart, no matter which part of the body you think is driving the decision, the reality is it is all in your limbic brain. Yes, if someone else wants to read.
Our limbic brain is powerful enough to drive behavior that sometimes contradicts our rational and analytical understanding of a situation. We often trust our gut even if the decision flies in the face of all facts and figures. Richard Restek, a well known neuroscientist, talks about this in his book, The Naked Brain. When you force people to make decisions with only the rational part of their brain, they almost invariably end up overthinking. These rational decisions tend to take longer to make, says Restek, and can often be of lower quality. In contrast, decisions made by the limbic brain and gut decisions tend to be faster, of higher quality, higher quality decisions. This is one of the primary reasons why teachers tell students to go with their first instinct when taking a multiple choice test, to trust their gut. The more time spent thinking about the answer, the bigger the risk that it may be wrong one. Our limbic brains are smart and often know the right thing to do. It is our inability to verbalize the reason that may cause us to doubt ourselves or to trust empirical evidence when our gut tells us not to. Consider the experience of buying a flat screen TV at your local electronics store. You stand in the aisle listening to the expert explaining to you the difference between LCD and plasma. The sales rep gives you the rational differences and benefits, yet you are still none wiser as to which one is best for you. After an hour, you still have no clue. Your mind is in overload because you're overthinking the decision. You eventually make a choice and walk out of the store. Still not 100% convinced you chose the right one. Then you go to your friend's house and see that he bought the other one. He goes on and on about how much he loves his TV. Suddenly you're jealous, even though you still don't know why his is any better than yours. You wonder, did I buy the wrong one? Companies that fail to communicate a sense of why force us to make decisions with only empirical evidence. This is why those decisions take more time, feel difficult, or leave us uncertain. Under these conditions, manipulative strategies that exploit our desires, fears, doubts, and fantasies work very well. We are forced to make these less than inspiring decisions for one simple reason. Companies don't offer us anything else besides the fact and figures, features, and benefits upon which to base our decision. Companies don't tell us why. Because people don't buy what you do, but by why you do it. A failure to communicate why creates nothing but stress or doubt. In contrast, many people who are drawn to buy Macintosh computers or Harley Davidson motorcycles, for example, don't need to talk to anyone about which brand to choose. They feel the utmost confidence in their decision, and the only question they ask is which Mac or which Harley. At that level, the rational features and benefits, facts, and figures absolutely matter, but not to drive the decision to give money or loyalty to company or brand. That decision is already made. The tangible features are simply to help direct the choice of product and that best fits our needs. It is, in these cases, the decisions happened in the perfect inside out order. Those decisions started with why, the emotional component of the decision, and then the rational component allowed the buyer to verbalize or rationalize the reasons for their decision. This is what we mean when we talk about winning hearts and minds. The heart represents the limbic, the feeling part of the brain, and the mind, the rational language center. Most companies, most companies are quite. Can you scroll, please? Most companies are quite adept at winning minds. All this requires is a comparison of all features and benefits. Winning hearts, however, takes more work. Given the evidence of natural order of decision making, I can't help but wonder if the order of expression, heart and mind, is a coincidence. Why does no one set out to win minds and hearts? The ability to win hearts before minds is not easy. It is a deliberate balance of art and science. Another coincidental grammatical construction. Why is it that things are not balance of science and art, but always before science? Perhaps it is a subtle clue that our language impaired limbic brain is sending us to help us see that the art of leading is about following your heart. Perhaps our brains are trying to tell us that why must come first. Absent a why, a decision is harder to make. And when in doubt, we look to science, to data, to guide decisions. Companies which tell companies will tell you that the reason they start with what they do or how they do it is because that's what their customers asked for: quality, service, price, features. That's what the data reported. But for the fact that the part of the brain that controls decision making is different from the part of the brain that is able to report back that decision, it would be a perfectly valid conclusion to give people that they ask for what they ask for. Unfortunately, there is more evidence that sales don't significantly increase after bonds of loyalty are not formed simply when companies say or do everything their customer wants. Henry Ford summed it up best. If I had asked people what they wanted, they said they would have wanted a faster horse. This is the genius of great leadership. Great leaders are great organizations and good at seeing what most of us can't see. They are good at giving us things we would never think of asking for. When the computer revolution was afoot, computer users could not ask for a graphical user interface, but that's what Apple gave us. In the face of expanding competition in the airline industry, most air travelers would never have thought to ask for less instead of more. But that's what Southwest did. And in the face of hard times and overwhelming odds, few would have asked their country, "What can I do for you?" over "What can you do for me?" The very cause upon which John F. Kennedy introduced his presidency. Great leaders are those who trust their gut. They are those who understand the art before the science. They win hearts before minds. They are the ones who start with the why. We make decisions all day long, and many of them are emotionally driven. Rarely do we sift through all the available information to ensure we know every fact. And we know don't need to if it is all about degrees of certainty. I can make a decision with 30% of information, said former Secretary of State Colin Powell. Anything more than 80% is too much. There is always a level of at which we trust ourselves and those around us to guide us and don't always feel we need all the facts and figures. And sometimes we just may not trust ourselves to make a certain decision yet. This may explain why we feel the, this may explain why we feel so uncomfortable when others twist our arms to make a decision that doesn't sit well in our gut. We trust our gut to help us decide whom to vote for or which shampoo to buy, because our biology complicates our ability to verbalize the real reasons why we make the decisions we do. We rationalize based on one or more tangible factors like the design or the service or the brand. This is the basis for the false assumption that price or features matter more than they do. Those things matter, they provide us the tangible things we can point to or rationalize our decision making, but they don't set the course and they don't inspire the behavior. It's what you can't see that matters. Gets your whites whiter and brighter, said the TV commercial for the newest laundry detergent.
Saurav, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, I'm not able to hear you. Okay, this was the.
Is it? Yeah.
Mm,
Should I read it?
Yeah, this was the value.
Okay. This was the value proposition for so many years in the laundry detergent business, a perfectly legitimate claim. That's why the market research, that's what the market research revealed that consumers wanted. The data was true, but the truth was of what people wanted was different. The makers of laundry detergent asked consumers what they wanted from the detergent, and consumers said whiter whites and brighter brights. Not a remarkable finding if you think about it, that people doing laundry wanted the whiter and brighter by trying to convince consumers that one additive was more effective than another. Protein said one brand, color enhancer said another. No one asked consume customers why they wanted their clothes clean. The little nugget wasn't revealed until many years later when a group of anthropologists hired by the one of the packaged goods companies revealed that all those additives weren't in fact driving behavior. They observed that when people took their washing out of the dryer, no one held it up to the light to see how white it is or compared it to newer items to see how bright it was. The first thing people did was they pulled their laundry out of the dryer was to smell it. This was an amazing discovery. Feeling clean was more important to people than being clean. There was a presumption that all detergents get your clothes clean. That's what detergent is supposed to do. But having their clothes smell fresh and clean mattered much more than the nuanced differences between which detergent actually made clothes much cleaner. That a false assumption swayed an entire industry to follow the wrong direction in a not so unique is not unique to detergents. Cell phone companies believed people wanted more options and buttons until Apple introduced an iPhone.
Hello.
Car made. Hello.
I think we did not hear introduce its iPhone since the.
Okay. Is everyone not hearing me or?
What about others?
We can clearly
Yes,
hear
yes.
you.
Yeah, in between,
No,
voice was breaking. Yes.
in between miss. Yes.
Okay.
I think I hear the last one iPhone. Yeah.
Okay. Cell phone companies believed people wanted more options and and buttons until Apple introduced its iPhone with fewer options and only one button. The German automakers believed their engineering alone mattered to American car buyers. They were stunned and perplexed when they learned that the great engineering was not enough. One by one, the German luxury car makers begrudgingly added cup holders to their fine automobiles. It was a feature that mattered a great deal to commuter-minded Americans. That was rarely mentioned in any research about what factors influenced purchase decision. I am not for a moment proposing that cup holders make people loyal to BMWs. All I am proposing is that cup holders make people loyal to the buyers. There is more to decision making than meets the eye liberally. The power of limbic brain is astounding. It not only controls our gut decisions, but it can influence us to do things that seem illogical or irrational, leaving the safety of home to explore faraway places, crossing oceans to see what's on the other side, leaving a stable job to start a business out of your basement with no money in the bank. Many of us look at the decisions and say, that's stupid, you're crazy. You could lose everything. You could get yourself killed. What are you thinking? It's not logic or facts that are hopes and dreams, but our hopes and dreams, our hearts and our guts that drive us to try new things. If we were all rational, there would be no small businesses. There would be no exploration. There would be little innovation, and there would be no great leaders to inspire all those things. It is underlying belief in something bigger and better that drives that kind of behavior. But it can also control behavior born out of other emotions, like hate or fear. Why else would someone plot to hurt someone they had never met? The amount of market research that reveals that people want to do business with a company that offers them the best quality products with the most features, the best service, and all at a good price is astounding. But consider the companies with the greatest loyalty. They are rarely have all of those things. If you wanted to buy, yeah. But consider the companies with the greatest loyalty. They rarely have all those things. If you wanted to buy a custom Harley Davidson, you would wait for 6 months for delivery. To give them credit, they've got it down from a year. That's bad service. Apple computers are at least 25% more expensive than a comparable PC. There is less software available for their operating systems. They have fewer peripherals. Their the machine themselves are sometimes slower than a comparable PC. If people made only rational decisions and did all the research before making a purchase, no one would ever buy a Mac. But of course, people do buy Macs, and some don't just buy them; they love them. A feeling that comes straight from the heart or their limbic brain. We all knew someone who is die-hard Mac. We all know someone who is die-hard Mac lover. Ask them why they love their Mac. They would tell you, well, I myself, as someone who likes to challenge the status quo, and it's important for me to surround myself with people, products, and brands that prove to be outside the world who I believe I am. Biologically, that's what happened. But that decision was made in the part of rationalization. It's a user interface, it's the simplicity, it's the design, it's the high quality. That's the best computer. I am a creative person. In reality, their purchase decision was and their loyalty are deeply personal. They don't really care about Apple. It's all about them. The same can be said for the people who love to work at Apple. Even employees can't put into words. In their case, their job is one of what's to their why. They are too convinced it's the quality of producer products alone that is behind Apple's success. But deep inside, they all love being part of something bigger than themselves. The most loyal Apple employees, like the most loyal Apple customers, all love a good revolution. A great a great raise and added benefits could not convince a loyal Apple employee to work for Dell, and no amount of cashback, incentive, and rebates could convince a loyal Mac user to switch to a PC. Many are already paying the double the price. This is beyond rational, this is a belief. It's no accident that culture at Apple is often described as a cult. It's more than just a product, it's a cause to support. It's a matter of faith. Should I stop here?
Yeah, 1 minute, just a minute, I'll check how many pages are there. 77. Yeah, I think 1 page. Just we can complete this.
Sure. Remember the Honda and the Ferrari? Products are not just symbols of what company believes, they also serve as symbols of what the loyal buyer believes. People with Apple laptop computers, for example, love opening them up while sitting in an airport. They like that everyone knows they're using a Mac. It's an emblem, a symbol of who they are. That glowing Apple logo speaks to something about them and how they see the world. Does anyone notice when someone pops out the lid of their HP or Dell computer? No, not even the people using the computers care. HP and Dell have a fuzzy sense of why. So their computers are, so their products are their brands, and their brands don't symbolize anything about the users. To the Dell or HP user, their computer, no matter how fast or sleek it is a symbol of a higher purpose, cause, or belief. It is just a computer. In fact, for the longest time, the logo and the lid of Dell computer faced the user when they opened it. It would be upside down for everyone else. Products with a clear sense of why give people a way to tell the outside world who they are and what they believe. Remember, people don't buy what you do, but they buy why you do it. If a company does not have a clear sense of why, then it is impossible for the outside world to perceive anything more than what the company does. And when this happens, manipulations that rely on pushing price, features, service, or quality become the primary currency or differentiation.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Suman, and thank you, Saurav, for your beautiful reading for today's session. So now time is 7:50. With this, we come to end of today's reading. So we completed chapter 4. Yesterday we read about the golden circle. What is the importance of that? Why, how, and what from the intrinsic and extrinsic? How the companies manipulate all these things. Now today we have read about what actually biologically how it works, how our brain works on this. He briefly explained about it. Fine. Now Let's hear it from our individual about today's reading. What is your learning and what is your experience, or whether you have connected with something, whether you have used something somebody use convince you to take decisions at that moment, or you convince someone to take decisions by forcing someone to explain someone to the why part. Please now share your
Yes.
experiences.
Yeah. From today's reading, I like the example of Dr. Sway's story, the star belly sneeches and plain belly sneeches. Actually, star belly sneeches were the birds who had stars on their belly, and they were feeling themselves very special. It was biological. And plain belly sneeches, they wanted to spend any much of amount just to have that stars. And it was Sylvester McBean, I think it was the name, who profited just by producing that machine which made the same stars. So our basic desire to feel like we belong to powerful, that is the whole market actually. Yeah, this I want to say.
Thank you, Suman. Anyone want to share?
Yeah. The last part where the writer is talking about people opening their laptops and everyone looking at it in an airport. If it's an Apple one, Mac, people look. If it's a Dell, they don't look. So that was very interesting for me. Thank you.
Would like to have a poll. How many of you use Apple products here? Or how many of you so much fond of Apple? I think Mac or
Personally,
iPhones.
I don't like Apple. None of us in the family use Apple. We prefer ThinkPad, Dell, and various other things. Samsung, that's what we believe in.
Mhm.
Okay.
I use a Mac,
I
but
think I
not
have
an
an opinion
iPhone.
about it. Oh, okay. Those who use iPhone, I think I have a condition.
We have an iPad, but not an iPhone or Mac.
I got used to using an iPhone for a long time. So I've used other phones in between, but seem to be
Mhm.
going back to iPhone because it's so intuitive for me.
Yeah, once we use that, then it will make you to use the same. Sometimes I think I feel like getting iPhone. Even I have not used this one. I don't have iPhone.
I
But
have I am a fan of Apple, but
I have
like
iPhone, Apple. Okay.
I actually
When you
work
use
in a
Apple or iPhone, I think
company.
we have list. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so actually this liking came when I worked with one of the company named Director, where we had crazy people for Apple, and like all the friends over there were like mad over it. Like they used to go in the lines, like they say, na, like 6 hours people wait when there are new launches and all of that. And
Yeah,
there were so many things around it. So that's where the craze came in from.
yeah. Hello, hello.
Yes,
Hi,
yes, yeah.
Mansi.
Yeah.
Am I
And
audible?
also,
Am I
like
audible?
as the author has
Yeah,
explained, that
yeah.
the ideology,
Okay. Uh,
I could relate with that. Like that's also one of the reason that uh, as a brand, it's something that connects with me.
yeah. And I feel something craziness when some people are using that Apple iMac. People I think standing in queue and buying it, and people come and talk about, hey, wow, this feature is this phone has this feature, this phone has that feature. I think so they are so excited about sharing all those things, but I have not seen that kind of expressions from others. I don't know whether it is real or not, or the people
Yeah, it is a
exaggerated.
little, I feel, yeah, it is a little exaggerated for like it. Yes, I do agree. Like because my even my husband is like not like, because it's very complicated also. Like sometimes Apple have a lot of monopoly. So you have to use
Mm-hmm.
you get one product and then you have to get all of them, purchase all of them. In fact, they don't even give you a charger with their products. So you have to purchase everything separately, and like so all of that is also there. So and it is kind of hyped up for sure.
Yeah, I think the people around us also, I think, making a hype on this one. Even sometimes people feel serious. Okay, hey, I should have this particular product only, then I will be counted as, yeah, so-called, I think, yeah, I'm valued in this particular group. They some may have some with the purpose, or some they need particular device, but some may have some different things because of others are using. I should also have it. Okay, because of
But
having this
but
one, I
then
should have a status. Hmm.
yeah, but I'll share one thing that I have used, right, some of
Hmm.
the products. Like I we use iPad. I use iPad regularly, and a Mac and all. The smoothness of their devices and the user friendliness and everything is actually, the design wise, everything is very very different than any other product. So once when you use that product, many a times you are not able to switch to the other this thing. It's like when you use something that smooth, because I have used both. I have used iPad also, and I have used a Samsung Tab also, like of a friend or something. But there is a lot of difference in the way it operates, in the way the function and everything carries on. Na, it's very smooth. Only thing is like it's very this thing like even for sharing and everything, na, you have to have Apple device to make it easy. Otherwise, it becomes very complicated. You cannot share things with other devices or other this thing. They have a lot of monopoly around it. So as far as you have Apple users and Apple everything, all devices, it becomes easier. Otherwise, it becomes very complicated. So that's the only thing. But the quality and this thing is top notch actually. So yeah.
These features are
Yeah.
like stars
Yeah.
on the belly of the snitches, actually. And that is our desire to feel like to be powerful. We belong to the power group.
I have a question.
Hey, this. Yeah.
Yeah. So after Tim Cook took over, no, has Apple products still maintaining the standards? Are they innovating still? Uh, or is it like he's just polishing and doing no makeover, a superficial makeover of the latest products? Or is it still getting getting more sophisticated, more user friendly, and are they adding more features or something?
I think for the last 10 years, iPhones have been very similar. They just add one more camera. They don't deliver what they promise. For example, Apple Intelligence, they have been promising for last 2 years. It is still not there, while others have moved far beyond that. So I think
Yeah, yeah, even I
what
agree.
they were able to establish whatever that connection that they're able to do that, and obviously the way they've architected it. But yeah, beyond that, it's just polishing it further. They have not really delivered any innovation per se in the last 8 to 10 years, I would say, for sure.
Yeah, after Steve Jobs left the control of the company to others, there has been just maintaining the status quo. They have done small improvements, but it has really not been very, it's not really been on a massive scale. And but that being said, one of the things that Apple also boasts about, because it is proprietary in a lot of ways, there is also some more privacy with the data that Apple says that as compared to an Android, where Android is basically you have to log in using your Gmail account, and pretty much your data is captured by Google for their whatever, understanding the business, understanding user sentiments, everything. So the privacy part of it is one thing where they don't keep track of, if you use their browser, for instance, if you use DuckDuckGo, they don't capture what you do as much as they do use the data for their data analysis. So there is some privacy concern that Apple is very particular about, that they will maintain customer privacy as compared to Android, which does not have that.
Okay, that is great, Vidya. Privacy is very important today.
And I also agree with
Thanks,
Saurabh.
Vidya.
Like the
Thanks, Sulaiman.
innovation is just like they just show a feature, and there is just the upgrades are coming in, but they are not much as such. It's just one or two features, something like that, and it's some nothing much as such. But I like
Thanks,
one thing
Sulaiman, for
about them,
sharing.
that they have as a brand, they have raised the standards to a quite an extent, and now many other brands do follow them. Like they have to, like they are the trend setters kind of a thing. But yeah, I think even that's reduced in a quite a few years now.
Yeah, thanks, Sulaiman, for sharing experience with Apple products. So today we read the topic of the limbic brain and the neocortex brain. The neocortex is about analytical and language. The limbic brain is the emotions. Now I just want to hear from you. You went with something that neocortex brain by, I think, went with some analysis, analytical, or study about the particular product, and you went to buy something because of the people, I think the peer, the salesman, or something, people have influenced your the limbic brain and made you to buy some other products. Anything happened in your experience? You went to buy, or you come up with some decision, but that because you went to buy something, then you change your decisions because of the someone, whatever we have read today, that white part, something they influence your brain or influence your mind or influence something. You have any experience on this?
I can share some experience on how enterprises buy. Like I sell to enterprises, and when these enterprises are comparing between multiple competitors who are again there to share multiple differences in terms of the facts and features, and which analysts are reporting them on higher side on some or the other scale. But then when they continue into this loop, they are always they never realize, they never walk out of the store feeling that they have made the decision, or they don't really know why they have made the decision that they have made. And at times they are never able to make a decision at all. But then there is this practice that they say in the sales engineering kind of role that I am in, that we have to really try to understand the need that they have not explicitly mentioned. Try to ask such questions that discover their real reason why they are having facing some problems. Trying to understand, okay, how does a day in a business look like for you today? What are the things that are irritating you? So trying to get to the root of the problem. What if you do not change anything? What if you continue the way you are operating today? What problem you will face because of that? So those kind of questions, discovery questions we call it. So those kind of discovery questions is something that leads us to certain pointers that no other person would ever ask if they are there to just talk about their product or how good their product is from the competitor. And such kind of vendors who ask these questions to them, okay, how can we improve your business? How can we understand what is the real problem? What is it that would change if you really switch from product X to Y? So the kind of salespeople who would ask these kind of questions to understand their pain points, to understand their side of what would change and how they would want to see it, are the ones who typically get their confidence, and they typically buy from those people. So that's the kind of the limbic brain that they address for them, rather than the neocortex, which is more about talking about facts and features and clicks. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing that. I think what actually happens, or how people doing it, or using that techniques. I think I would say this is not only these techniques, whatever we have read last 2 days. This is not only in that industry or the business side. This also applies when someone is owning a team or someone is working as a leader. Or if, I think we have a lot of coaches. When we when they are coaches, I think they have to identify, understand why they are why there is a problem. We have to identify. They have to ask the questions why part more that get them more information. And also, I think when we influence with or inspire others with that why part, whatever we read, I think biological side from the brain how it works, definitely I think it will make a lot of changes. I think there is one more part, important part we have touched upon, which is leading the gut feeling. Gut feeling, I think anyone wants to share something about the gut feelings.
Yeah, I want to actually add to what Saurabh said. So even in advertising, na, there is this huge this thing. Whenever we work on any brand or any ad or anything, na, like even if you observe any advertisements on television and all of that, they're very wisely designed in a way from and there is this whole thing called target audience and consumer insight. So there is this thing where you have to catch the consumer insight, and if you are able to catch it, that's how the product becomes successful as a sales on a sales front. So there is I can just give this example, like two three examples, like how Maggie become popular at one point of a time, where they catch the consumer insight of where people were not having time, and that 2 minutes thing, if you practically observe, Maggie can never be like cooked in 2 minutes. It at least takes 10 minutes, but the advertising hooked it. So that is one thing. Again, of Nakshatra Diamond, there is this example where they put this insight, like they catch the insight of people, where they shared that it's something that you give to your loved ones. So that's where like every woman would want to gifted be a diamond, like that's how they provoke, and that's how advertisers and all of these, they induce these things in us through ads, through all of that. So that is also one thing where they catch these consumer insights, as we are just discussing all of that. So just adding to it. So as what Saurabh said, discovery, this thing, that's how it is. And there is a lot of brief and lot of questions and target audience research and everything goes on behind the scenes when people actually work on all of this to catch all of these, and then that's how the ads are produced. So even the tonality to everything, the look and feel, the lifestyle and everything is reflected, so that people connect, the right target audience connects with it. And you'll see that only the right target audience will connect with it. Other people will not be interested in that particular ad, but the ones whom it is meant for will get attracted to it. So that's how it is being done. So that's what I understand. So just sharing that.
Thanks, Mansi, for with that some examples which you give that the diamond and one more what you said. Uh,
So there are many like that, but these are the two that just came to my mind right
mhm. Yeah, yeah. Okay, now time is 8:10. Okay, can we? So, is there anyone wants to share? Want to share this information? Anything such? Okay, if that is too much, let's end for adjourn for today's session, and let's meet again on Monday morning at 7 a.m. Thank you so much for your participation and for
Thank you.
leading the session today.
Thank you all. Thanks. Good morning. Have a
now.
great
Thank you.
morning.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Saurabh,
you.
please
Have a
be
great day.
there
Have a good
sometime
day.
1 minute time. Saurabh, okay.
Sure, Rajesh, I can be here.
Yeah. Mansi.
Do I wait?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you end the meeting. I'm gonna leave the meeting. Yeah.